Yes, good afternoon. The day is almost over.
Recording in progress.
Thank you, Amy. So I'm calling to order the Children's Service Council of Broward County's monthly board meeting. Amy, if you could please take roll call.
Vicky Cartwright, Kathy Donnelly, Beam Fur, Kenneth Gillespie, Dave Kenton, Donna Korn, Don Liberta,
Present.
Tom Powers, Maria Schneider, Paula Thatchy,
Present.
Jeffrey Wood.
Present.
A quorum has been established.
Thank you, Amy. If we want to just take a moment to arrive and process our week. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and hand over the agenda to Cindy for the good of the order and the president's report.
Oh, I have so much to share with you. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I have a lot to tell you. And the first is our friend, immediate past chair, Kathy Donnelly, always loves to celebrate everybody else. But she and her husband, James, are receiving an honor. They are going to be recognized as Philanthropists of the Year by the Association of Fundraising Professionals at their National Philanthropy Day on November 10th. The annual luncheon and award celebration honors community champions for their unique contributions and dedication to nonprofit causes. This year's celebration is going to be virtual, sadly. I was looking forward to feting you in person, but tickets are available on the Fort Lauderdale Broward chapter of the Association of Fundraising Professionals. I'm happy to say that I wrote a letter of support, and it was the easiest letter of support I have ever written in my life. Your contributions are fantastic. So,
Congratulations.
Then here's a different one. The FBI of Miami announced the nominations for the 2020 FBI Directors Community Leadership Award, which is the highest award that honors organizations and individuals who are doing the hard work of improving their communities. I had no idea that the FBI gave out such awards, but the reason we know it and we're celebrating it this year is because the Broward Human Trafficking Coalition was honored for its dedication and commitment. And you may remember the STARS committee presented to us. That's one of the committees of the Children's Strategic Plan. And Tabby Bush, who is one of our program managers, is the vice president in connection with the Stop Trafficking and Rescue Survivors. That's what STARS stands for. So she was part of being honored, as well as Keisha Gray, who is the manager in charge of our Children's Strategic Plan. So here, ladies, up. Keisha, again, was recognized as a Jamaican trailblazer by the city of Lauderhill. We just have such amazing people who work here. The Broward Read for the Record is coming up. Very exciting. We had a launch at Mods. See, I have beautiful wings. I don't know why I stood in front of it. Was the wings were gorgeous. We got to pet dragons, and I don't remember. Did I tell you about these young people before? So if you look, the picture on the bottom where I'm standing with two young people, they were showing off dragons. And I struck up a conversation with them as I was petting the dragons and asked them, how long they'd been there and what they had done. And it turns out that they were interns through our program at Mods. Their youth that have aged out of foster care were part of the Mods internship program, and now they have full-time jobs there. And they love it. It's like, oh, you made my day. So that was exciting. I was a panelist on the Mobilizing the Movement, Part 3, Uniting the Jewish and Black Communities. It was a virtual event presented by the Urban League of Broward County, the Community Relations Council of Broward County, and the American Jewish Committee. It convened local thought leaders and change agents for an intimate discussion about the historical experiences of Black and Jewish communities and how they can work together to address race, racism, and systemic oppression. And I should tell you, just this morning, I received a call from Michelange Obel about the situation, the Haitian migrants in Texas. And we are trying to mobilize again the Black Jewish Alliance and some other organizations. You may recall back after the earthquake in 2010, CSC was a hub for planning for the resettlement of the Haitian immigrants who came here. And we're looking at how we can mobilize some of those forces again to help support there. And I wrote my South Florida 100 on this topic this morning. So, very sad situation. To let you know, our fame continues to spread through Sue. She recently participated in a podcast for the All In Network, a national organization providing technical assistance to communities across the US to systematically improve community health outcomes. Sue shared some of the insights regarding CSC's data sharing and equity journey. And from their webpage, they said, "This is a powerful and timely conversation which touches on aligning equity through data sharing, consistent community engagement, and the power of human connection in a time of social distancing." The feedback we received from the presentation was outstanding. In fact, the Federal Department of Labor has already reached out trying to figure out what else they can learn. One of the people who works there was involved in our P3 grant, and she was just delighted to know that all of this had sprung from the P3 grant, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. So that was fun. FarmShare and Neighbors for Neighbors recently donated thousands of reusable masks, sanitizers, and wipes. We've been promoting their availability through weekly blasts, and dozens of child-serving providing agencies have taken advantage of these for their staff and program participants. I think we gave you some last time. The kitchen has cleared out quite a bit since last month. And of course, September 15th through October 15th is Hispanic Heritage Month. And this year, just to share a little bit of staff insider stuff, our Hispanic staff has started a little newsletter called CSC Estrellas, which is a newsletter project, and each week they're going to highlight 2 or more of our Hispanic employees so that we can learn a little bit more about them, their Hispanic heritage, and what has shaped them to be who they are today. So yes, spearheaded by Dr. Laura Gansey, and it's really lovely, and Betty, who makes everything look beautiful. So I want to commend them for that, and for those who have been willing to share of their experiences. And finally, at the end of this meeting, we are going to be saying goodbye to Sandra. I'm going to do my best to hold it together when we get to that. I want you to know.
See you in St. Lucia.
Yes. See you in St. Lucia. So today we made the decision about the new Chief Equity and Community Engagement Officer, and you can see her lovely picture there. Her name is Sharetta Remeke. She comes with incredible experience. She is currently the Director of Maternal Infant Health for the March of Dimes. She is a lifelong Broward resident, born and bred, and she has a lot of experience in diversity, equity, and inclusion coaching and training and development. She's got a doctorate in education in human services administration and organizational leadership from NOVA, a master in business administration, University of Phoenix, and a bachelor of science in health sciences education from the University of Florida. So she comes with a wealth of education and knowledge and life experience Most of her career has been spent addressing disparities in maternal infant health. So I'm really, when I compartmentalize, I'm excited about what she is going to bring to the organization. And our own Adama Ducil is the new Director of Equity and Capacity Building. As you all know, Adama is amazing. I'm so grateful that Sandra convinced her to come to CSC. She is a just powerhouse and brilliant young woman who has just done tremendous things for the training and capacity building work. And I'm so excited to have her as part of the senior leadership team now as the director. She's got a great future with us and in whatever she does. Yay to her. And that is my president's report.
Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, I was looking at Adama's face, and you know, people switch from agency to agency. I get very confused. I'm like, this makes sense. Thank you. Okay, so we're moving on to the consent agenda. Does anybody have any of these tabs that need to be pulled? Okay, hearing none, I do have to pull E, which is the approval for the ELC vulnerable population. So if we can get a motion to approve on the consent agenda A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, and L.
So moved.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any public comments?
No public comment.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And I'm guessing no abstentions. So thank you. So can we get a motion to approve on the consent agenda item number E, which is to approve the ELC vulnerable population contract extension through 12/31/21.
So moved.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any public comment?
No public comment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And Dawn Liberta abstains as I sit on the ELC board. Any other abstentions? Great, thank you. We're going to go ahead and hand it over to Sue for the Chief Innovation Officer report. Sue?
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. We just wanted to provide you with an update on this year's Youth Summit series. Many of you know that every 5 years, the CSC and the Children's Strategic Plan provide an update to the community and do some visioning for the next 5 years. And typically those events have been a one-time event with 1,000 or more people. This year, due to our unique situation, we are going to do a combination of virtual, in-person, and hybrid events, 5 events over the course of this year, with a culminating event in September 2022. We're also going to be co-creating Future First episodes with youth as co-hosts with Cindy for those. And so Dr. Keisha Gray, who heads up the Children's Strategic Plan, Andrew Leone from Public Awareness, and Adama Ducil from Public Awareness are really heading up this redesign with Children's Strategic Plan chairs from the various committees. And so we're really excited about this new approach to our 5-year update, report back, and visioning with the community. So please let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we will keep you up to date as the events solidify and encourage your participation.
Thank you, Sue. Any questions? Okay. We're going to go ahead and hand this over to Sandra for her last board meeting. Thank you, Sandra.
It's an FYI on Broward. Have to talk real loud. Okay, so it is an FYI on Broward Meet for the record, and Andrew is going to roll the tape on the video that has been prepared, and you can actually see the flyers.
Dragons! And that's it. Broward, look out! Incoming dragons! And that's a good thing.
Because these dragons are helpful.
And this year, they'll be helping Broward children develop a lifelong love of reading.
Broward Read for the Record is on Thursday, October 28th.
And that's when all of Broward County will be reading Amy Woo and the Hatchwick Dragon.
If you want to volunteer to help us start a fire,
you can volunteer to read for the record at handsonbroward.org. Brought to you by CSC, Broward, and these partners.
Very cute.
Thank you.
That's it?
Yep. You want me to tell? Oh, so the event this year is going to be hybrid. There are going to be people actually, volunteers actually going into the school, and there'll be some who will be submitting videos, and there'll be some who will be reading live via Teams or Zoom. Andrew is going to manage all of that instead of me this year. Okay, that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Andrew, for taking it over. Now going to hand over, I'm sorry, any questions for Sandra? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to David and Jeffrey for the Agency Capacity Building Committee report.
Thank you, Don. Dr. Kent and I drew straws, and he won, so I get to present. Thank you, Sandra, for all your help in this area, too. It's been awesome getting to know you, and your help in the capacity building area has been unbelievable. I'm not going to toot Adama's horn. I'm going to leave that for Dr. Kenton in the next meeting. But we had a community resource meeting on the 25th. Most of the details of that are in your packet in the minutes. It was a great session. We talked about the new grant that's coming out and eligibility and what the projects are. We also had a panel discussion on a topic that's near and dear to everybody's heart, which is volunteer engagement and how we can maximize volunteers in the community, help with our projects. We had some dynamic speakers that gave some tips and a helpful way to talk about how to engage volunteers. There's some upcoming training opportunities, a 5-part grant writing series that's coming up, and a heart-brain connection and implicit bias again this next session. Our next ACB meeting is coming up on November 3rd. Lastly, I just wanted to say that we had our final session in the ACB Chat and Chew series on accountability. And I would thank Mr. Dr. Kenton for bringing this program. It certainly helped me in my day-to-day efforts. I think it was well received by the participants, and we'd like to see that going on in the future as well. This one was on accountability, which you learn something new when you go over these topics about yourself, and also on your own perception about how these terms work in your life. And certainly I want to make sure that everyone has knowledge about these chat and chews going forward, and that we'll participate if we can. That's it. Oh, one last thing. I want to shout out to Thomas Ramsey, who handled that program. He did an excellent job recommending her works. That was a paid announcement.
Thank you.
Jeffrey, how many people attend the chat and chew?
It varied. It depended on the session. I think a lot of that has to do with the date we have it on. This last one was on a Friday, so it was probably lower attendance because of it. But typically, we see anything from 10 to 20 on, and we even had times where we had to do breakout groups. We'd go into small chat sessions on Zoom, which is fascinating, and talk about it in small groups, and then come back to the group with your answer to the problem that was being discussed. But great topics: alignment, integrity, which were the other topics, all very important parts.
Yeah, I think what was really just great about the experience is that because of the smaller numbers, it was a quality program, and the participants were able to be really reflective, just kind of whether it's their work identity or their work identity. And as Attorney Wood mentioned, right, there was a lot of Thomas just did a great facilitation, and was super transparent and made the material applicable to everyone in the space. And then there was homework in between each session. And so we were able to come back and just kind of reflect on it and make connections. And we were just talking before today that, there were participants who didn't come to each session, but were able to jump in and still gain from the experience. So you didn't have to come to every one in order to get something from
Thank you. Any public comment?
No public comment.
Thank you. So now we get to, it's bittersweet, sad for us and fantastic for Sandra that it's time to bid a farewell. And no. Sounds
So 20 years ago, a beautiful woman with a lilting accent I had never heard before walked in to this fledgling organization that didn't really exist. It was just a dream. There was, when the CSC passed in September of 2000, it was in There Shall Be, but there was no there. We were making it up as we went along. I was the first hire, Monty was second, and then we were just hiring people, like using the community to help me pick who would be the, at that time, director of communications. And she came with a portfolio of work from her time in many islands in the Caribbean, now a teacher at Parkway. And her experience in branding, her charm, her knowledge blew me away. And I said, she's willing to take a chance on us, I'm willing to take a chance on her. And what a brilliant chance it was. Before I met this young lady, I had heard of Trinidad and Tobago, but I couldn't have picked it out on a map, and I had never met anyone. And then it was like, I tell her all the time, now they're everywhere I turn. She has taught me so much. Some of you know, one of my management philosophies is to always hire people who are smarter than you are in their area of expertise, and this was no exception. Sandra has brought us so many initiatives where she wandered down the hall and said, what do you think if we, how about we promote the earned income tax credit? What are you, crazy? We're not built to do retail. Well, and it's not about, no, it's about children, and we can do it differently. We can use the nonprofits and really get into community in ways that no one else is doing. And within 2 years, we were being promoted by the feds as the best practice. We should do, the back to school extravaganza, because Jody from the school district came to her and said, we need the homeless kids get backpacks, but nobody's paying attention to those that are living in circumstances that are not stable. They're not homeless yet, but they're not stable. So could you maybe give us a grant? And so I just like, grant? Don't be silly. We will do an extravaganza. Um, you know, not just, not just, you know, supplies, not just backpacks, but shoes, uniforms, books. Show community support. Let's, you know, ultimately shots and haircuts and all kinds of things. She is amazing. And deserves oh, I almost forgot. Oh, Jesus, this is huge. Okay. So you may know that Sandra is an art buff. She and her husband, their house is like an art museum. And one of the people that she has brought into the fold is George Gadsden, who's a local artist, quite renowned. So we commissioned a piece for her.
Oh, that's nice.
And
going
so
with me?
it's a little heavy, but it must go to St. Lucia.
Tell Elliot. No, it's not that heavy.
She'll put
It's
it in her bag.
gorgeous. Put it in
Your bag.
Oh,
So it doesn't
yes.
break.
Wait, you have to take a picture. Oh, somebody. Hey, Andrew, thank you. Wait, hold it down.
They'll do one with just her.
Yeah.
Pictures. All right, hold on.
Why don't,
Stand on the logo.
yeah, why don't all the board?
Just for a second, for a picture.
Don't go anywhere. Oh my God, I look slim. Yes, I do.
Sandra, come. It's your party. Take your queen seat.
I did want to say a couple of things because I can't leave without talking, and you know there's never been any problem with me talking. So yeah, it's been an honor, a privilege, a pleasure really to have had this opportunity to serve Collaborative County. Every time I say that, I think about Skip. Is it Skip Johnson? My first couple of months at the CSC, he sat me down and gave me a history of Broward County. I really need to thank the folks who've done all of this alongside me, supporting me, and that is my PO team. Adama, Andrew, Kimberly, Yolanda, all the folks that are behind the scenes that you don't see, but they support the work. Roxanne has been here almost as long as I've been, 19 years. When I leave, she is another piece of that history of the CSC. Nicolette, Silky, the folks you meet when you come through that door. Silky is our director of first impressions. She is just so amazing. When Silky gets a call, she's directing people to DCF, she's directing people to all kinds of resources around the county. Alexia has grown amazingly. That newsletter is just phenomenal. Somebody I'm forgetting, one of you are going to remind. I said Andrew, I said Adama. Those two, they do so much work that sometimes I worry about them. My last set of parting words to Andrew and Adama is pace yourself, and self-care. Thanks to the senior management team, especially to Cindy. She's right. You know, I came in, I didn't sound like her, I didn't look like her, but she took the time to look at my resume. She is a phenomenal leader. She's a visionary. She has heart, and more importantly, she's very brave. Sometimes a little too brave for my nerves, but very brave. And to the board, the 20 years of boards that I've served under, y'all set an example for how boards should operate, if only others would. I thank you. And I didn't cry, so this actually was, yeah.
We're not done yet.
Okay, so that's my piece. I'm going to turn the microphone.
Well, Sandra, and I know that everybody on the board wants to wish you well, so I'm going to go around. I just want to say thank you for all your service in our community. We as a board and our community are just so thankful for everything you've given to us and all those families that you've been able to help with the work that you've done over the last 20 years here. And I wish you the best. You deserve it. Have a great time in retirement and enjoy that sun. Anybody? Tom?
So my parents taught me never judge others. Surprise to nobody, I didn't listen. I do judge, but I judge on what a person has accomplished. What have they done? Has it been for themselves? Is it for others? You're iconic. You always think about others before yourself. You think about how it's going to help others and how it gets people ahead. You've made it easy for the people that will follow you. You built that this organization into easy thing to step into because of your love for it. And thank you.
If we're going in order, I'm next, but I'm all choked up after that, Tom. Okay, wow. Oh, Sandra, I have no words, and I know everyone's surprised by that because I always have words, but you really are a special human being, and the energy, the passion, the commitment, the true heart that you bring to work every day. And you spread not just to the children and families that we're serving, but to your team, to all of us that work beside you. And you're just an inspiration. And I don't believe for 1 minute that you're retiring. I think you're going to St. Lucia, and they're going to be the luckiest community that has ever been since Broward County, because you are going to spread your magic down there as well. So I wish you well on the next chapter on your journey, and you will be so missed here. But please know you have left such a legacy behind here in Broward. The children that you've touched along the way, the families that have improved their lives because of your work. And I love that you always promote your team, but you have really led that team, and they look to you, and they now work hard and take your energy as well. So thank you for all that you've done. We love you, and we will truly miss you.
Sandra, I don't really say much, but I'm trained to look at the beginning of a document and the end of a document. And I want to take my judge hat off just for 1 minute. I'm not making any comments as a judge. But when I look at your photograph, I don't know when this was taken, some 20 years ago, and I'm looking at you now, you can't mess beauty up. You just can't mess beauty up. You are a beautiful looking person. From 20 years ago, you still look the same. It's amazing how you look. So I'm gonna end by saying this: a queen never loses her title. Continue to wear it.
So I don't know if you remember this or not, but before joining the council or being appointed, probably about 2 years before, I participated in Real Men Broward Read, right? And you actually stopped and talked to me, and just gave me advice about being connected to this community. And I had shared that I grew up in 33311. And we spent a lot of time around this council talking about that particular zip code. And one of the things that you said that day was, you're needed, you're valued, and be a part of your community. Full circle moment, here I am, and I definitely think in part to you and to your words. And so not only have you touched people right around this community, you have directly impacted me and where I'm at right now.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. Judge just stole exactly what I was going to say. But more importantly, you're a beautiful person on the inside, and you made us feel welcome from day one. Yeah, you threw us under the bus together, but it's been probably one of the best things I ever have gotten involved with my entire life. And I appreciate you throwing us under the bus together. Looking forward to working with the people you've trained so well. It's just been a pleasure to be involved in the capacity building side. And I just want to say that, someone's already said this, but I'll say it again because it's worth saying. You know you've made an impact when it takes 2 people to replace you. And you have. And thank you for all your service and for the families in Broward County. You'll be missed.
Can I get a motion to adjourn? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's get refreshments and be back here promptly at 4:59.
Recording stopped.